A dream is just a great idea that doesn't have a website yet. Guess who says that? The sponsors of today's episode of Not Too Deep, Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easy to turn your idea into a unique website. You can showcase your work, you can blog or publish content, even sell products and services of all kinds in just a few clicks. And with 24/7 award-winning customer support, you can customize everything from look and feel to settings and products using beautiful templates created by world-class designers. And there is nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever. So head to squarespace.com/grace for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE, GRACE, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Not too deep.
This is exciting news, guys. We're doing Not Too Deep live again here in Los Angeles on May 24th, 8 p.m. at Dynasty Typewriter.
That's right. And it is an all-ages show. I know that was a concern before. Ticket prices are reasonable, so go check out nottoodeep.com to get all those details.
And we have two...
Amazing.
I'm so excited. They've been on the podcast before, but they're coming back live. It's Zane and Heath. You guys have listened to them before. I love these beautiful dummies so much, and I mean that in the most complimentary way.
Yep.
So if you guys are in or around the Los Angeles area, please come see Not Too Deep live on May 24th, 8 p.m. Dynasty Typewriter.
All the details are at nottoodeep.com.
Not too deep. Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
Right on it. That's the perfect way to start. Just out with the old, in with the new air. Hi, Jack Ferry.
Hi, Grace Helbig. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? We're both a little sick.
Yeah.
But that hasn't stopped us from both making a cocktail on a Wednesday afternoon.
Hey,
I mean,
man.
it's officially noon right now.
That's
so
right.
It's okay.
I'm like one of those people that believes that sipping some whiskey is good for a sore throat, even though I've heard that it's complete nonsense.
I literally, if I ever get very sick, I go, well, I guess it's just hot toddies now.
Yeah.
You were saying that you tried a homeopathic remedy for
Yeah.
your illness, which sounds fun. And then you came in and saw whiskey and we're like, maybe I should try whiskey.
Yeah, I'm going to try both.
Yeah.
I'm going to try both the echinacea and like vitamin C.
You're doing some personal science and I'm proud of you for it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is a very exciting episode. As always, we have Heather McDonald on with us today.
I know.
Who is such a lovely woman.
Yes.
And I think it's even more appropriate because technically it's the day after Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize, for some dumb reason, I didn't realize that she had kids until the day before we were doing the interview with her.
Yeah.
And she's such a cool mom.
Yeah, she's got some great stories about being a mom.
Oh, they're fantastic. And just the way her kids operate and how it either bothers her or pleases her and how the stresses and successes of trying to mold young men in this kind of day and age right now.
Yeah, she has she's a very funny way of talking about her kids.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. She's wonderful. And she'll be with us in a second.
And you were just on her podcast as well.
And I was on her podcast, which is really, it's juicy.
Mm-hmm. Juicy Scoop.
And she's really great. I think she does a really great job at balancing talking about serious stuff and talking about just the fluff of pop culture.
Yeah, I agree. She's a great podcast host.
Yeah, she's super fun. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, did you celebrate your mother?
Did I celebrate my mother? Well, we're recording this pre-Mother's Day.
Right, which is a great thing because it's a reminder to myself that I have now 2 weeks to go get my mom something.
Do you do that? Do you send your mom gifts for Mother's Day? I usually just do a card.
That's my work. The quality about me that you couldn't even imagine is that I'm wildly inconsistent.
What?
And so
I find that very hard to believe.
Right, I know. It only happens rarely. And so I will, in the past, I'll remember Mother's Day and be like, oh shoot, let me get my mom a gift and have a very thought out gift.
Sure.
And then some years I just completely forget. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, here's an edible arrangement, which it probably will be this year. I always feel like when in doubt, edible arrangements.
Yeah, that's your go-to gift.
Because it's silly, but it's also
But it's also nice.
It's also nice.
The
you
fruit's
get fruit.
good.
The fruit's great. And
Yeah.
it's if someone gets you flowers, they die. If someone gets you chocolates, you're like, oh, God, now I have this temptress in my house right now. And now you get hey, you have no excuse.
I love an edible arrangement. And I know you always send it semi-sarcastically, but every time I get an edible arrangement, I'm like, awesome.
Oh, it's
I
all
love it.
pre-chopped for you?
I know,
it's
great.
all peeled and ready to go?
But I agree. It is pretty stupid, but I love it so much.
Do you do thoughtful Mother's Day gifts each year?
I mean, to be honest,
Or just an acknowledgement text?
I do send, this is embarrassing. I send my mom e-cards.
What?
Because she really likes them.
Oh, okay. Well, as
Yeah.
long as she likes them, then you're not just spamming her.
No, I actually, like, I subscribed. I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
I pay for like an annual subscription to this e-card company. It's like $10 a year. It's like nothing.
Sure.
To send her like these sort of like cute animated
Yeah.
e-cards.
So this subscription is based solely on just your mother receiving them.
Yeah, and I sent because
Okay.
I send it to her on Mother's Day, and I send one to her on her birthday, which is in June. And
So you have them scheduled. You could just schedule them at the beginning of the year.
I don't know. Like I said, she likes it.
Oh.
And I like sending them. Like
Yeah.
it's my sort of like annual ritual of going
Remember-
through and like finding like the cute ones with like, oh, this one's got Snoopy or whatever.
Yeah, remember when
She really
e-cards?
likes them.
Yeah, when
so.
they started and they were this big, wonderful thing that we were like, whoa, we can send these. And I remember scrolling through trying to find the
Yep.
funniest animated one to send. There was always these ones with like 2 critters that had high-pitched voices.
Oh, those, yeah.
You know what I'm
those
talking
are
about.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
mean,
those guys.
It's such a vague description, but also
That was
everyone.
the Hallmark has those.
Yeah.
Those 2 idiots.
And they were
They're
like
hilarious.
the closest thing to being funny on an
Uh-huh.
e-card. And then there's some e-cards which are actually very funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't send those. Not to
don't-
my mom.
Not yet. Yeah, she doesn't.
What about you? Do you?
Well, see, I have a mom and a stepmom,
Uh-huh.
so I show them equal appreciation and love and all of that. Also, my mom's birthday is June 1st, so it's like
yeah.
kind of, if I forget Mother's Day, I can kind of wrap it into her gift
Sure.
for her birthday and just get her
Make
something.
amends that way.
Yeah, I just try to remember to call my mom and my stepmom on Mother's Day because that's the only thing they want. It's just a phone call of acknowledgement.
Yeah.
I realized
That's something I'm trying to get better at too, is just like calling my parents randomly, just be like,
Oh God, yeah, I'm bad. My mom literally texted me this morning. She drew a picture. This is where how desperate. No, I love my mom very much, and she loves me very much, and she loves the new show that Mamrie and I are doing very much. This might get. She's our number 1 fan, and she had been texting me, and I was in New York, so I was busy. And now she's reverted to. She literally drew fan art of This Might Get and took a photo of it and
Aw.
just texted it to me this morning. And I'm like, my mom is firing on all cylinders to get a response from me.
oh yeah. She's like, this'll work.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
But she's a sweetheart because she's retired now. So she's got so much more free time during the week.
Sure.
And so she's finding activities to fill the space,
Sure.
which I get.
Yeah. I am also trying to connect with my parents better, and I
Mhm.
called them randomly just because I'm just like trying to like do better about just like
Yeah,
checking in with them
when
once a
you're
month or
thinking
whatever.
about them, yeah.
I was like, I'm driving. What the hell? I can call them right
know.
now. And so I called, and my mom answers the phone. Was just like, "What's wrong?"
That's the sign that you don't call home enough.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, nothing's wrong. I was just calling to say, and she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are good. The dog, we just got it back from the vet. You know,
Yeah.
just like
No,
the mundanity of
Always the first thing
Yeah.
is everything okay? Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I'm calling to talk.
yeah, just calling to say hi because I'm stuck in traffic.
I know. That's my mom knows that if I'm calling her, I'm driving somewhere. I'm either
Yeah.
driving to or from something, and I have at least 20 minutes because I feel like
Right.
I can't do this like drive-by conversation for 5 minutes. I have to do the full download on everything that's happened in my life to my parents, and so I always have like
And
anxiety.
do they give you the full download?
Yeah,
Because
which is always
I'm
the
I'm
same.
finding the full download to be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I get the full download, which is never that different than the last time I got a full download.
Mhm.
But yeah, if they're eager to tell, I'm eager to listen.
Right.
So why not? So
Well, God bless moms. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
and if you guys are listening to this on the day that this is airing and you forgot about your mom, get on that.
It's not too late.
We're here to remind you of that.
Yes.
And one mother that's here to remind you that motherhood can be fun
Mm-hmm.
is Heather McDonald. And she's with us right after this on Not Too Deep. We'll be right back with Heather McDonald.
Not too deep.
With Grace Helbig.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by The Black Witch. which-
Ooh.
yeah, I know. It's a must-read epic fantasy packed cover to cover with awesome magic, intense action, and seriously dangerous enemies.
My favorite kind of enemies.
The Black Witch tells the story of Ellerin Gardner, a young mage and granddaughter of the last Black Witch. She has grown up sequestered in the countryside with little exposure to the world outside of her small community.
Oh, my childhood.
Okay, so spoiler alert.
Mhm.
When Ellerin, who appears to have no powers of her own, goes off to a prestigious university. She comes into contact with new species, races, and cultures for the very first time.
Oh, that's a college experience.
Indeed. And in this imaginative and intoxicating university setting, Ellerin begins to question the strict beliefs and prejudices of the world in which she was raised, eventually forcing her to confront some harsh truths about herself and her own people. And I got to say, that's kind of what university is for most people.
That was my college experience. Yeah, I was like, that's pretty formative.
I can relate. But this book has a diverse cast of real, complex, and genuinely captivating characters who must learn to coexist and cooperate if they are going to survive the rising tide of chaos and corruption.
Whoa.
The Black Witch is a fast-moving and powerful story about challenging beliefs, confronting prejudice, and battling oppression. And New York Times bestselling author Robin Hobb called it, quote, refreshing and, quote, powerful.
Ooh, I like those terms.
So go check it out, guys. If you like reading, which everybody should like reading, I think you're going to enjoy this book. It is The Black Witch by Laurie Forrest, available now wherever books and audiobooks are sold.
Not too deep.
Jack Ferry,
Yes, Grace Helbig.
can you believe this?
What?
Support for today's show comes from Squarespace.
Oh, our good buddies.
Yeah, I guess that their tagline is now.
Let me guess. It's think it, dream it, make it with Squarespace.
Oh, you nailed it.
Was I close?
You kind of nailed it.
I got it like 100%.
100%. Look, with beautiful templates created by world-class designers, Squarespace makes it easy to turn your idea into a new and unique website.
You can customize everything from look and feel to settings and products, all optimized for mobile right out of the box with built-in search engine optimization. And I would also like to say, I use Squarespace, and it's very easy to use and very easy to update. And if a dum-dum like me can do it, certainly so can you.
Might you say you are a satisfied customer?
I am definitely a satisfied customer.
Well, listen, if you guys want to showcase your work, blog or publish your own content, announce a special product or project, even sell products and services of all kinds, you can do it in just a few clicks.
And they've got technology, guys. Like, you can use their analytics to help you grow in real time. And there's something to install. You don't have to worry about patches. You don't have to worry about upgrades ever. And if you do have a question, they have award-winning 24/7 customer support there to help you out.
They say keep dreaming, but make it a reality with a website from Squarespace.
So if you're ready to, head to squarespace.com/grace for your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE, that's GRACE, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/grace, offer code GRACE.
Yay! Heather McDonald, yay! Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, I'm only a good 45 minutes late to this one. So
It's okay.
God bless. I really appreciate it. I was just looking at your Twitter
Yes.
and I've been deep diving because you and I have a very common affinity for all things Real Housewives
Yes.
and all things kind of Bravo Network in general.
Good.
And I realized, I put this together maybe yesterday, that you sometimes pop up in like the background of like parties because you're like
Yes.
genuine friends with a lot of the Real Housewives.
Yes, but that's also sort of embarrassing too. Like it's
But it's great
it's
because
like where's Waldo? It's like
But
where's Heather that drove 3 hours for some free pass apps and some Chardonnay? And I'm like, yes, I will do that. I
you're
will go
speaking
to
my
Megan
language.
King Edmonds' candle party.
Yeah.
I will get a hotel room and I will rock it out.
It's so fun though. I also have another friend, Mr. Kate, who does like interior design, and she's friends with all the Vanderpump Rules kids. And
Oh,
so she
okay.
was like in the wedding of Katie and Tom, like in the
Nice.
background.
She went to Lake
partying.
Arrowhead.
Yeah, she was like, it
Good
was
for her.
same kind of mentality. She's like, they're like my buds, but it was really embarrassing to just kind of like try to avoid the cameras the whole time.
Well, at first I didn't. At first I thought, why wouldn't they want to feature such a delight?
Right.
Okay. And then the time that I sort of had like the aha moment,
Uh-huh.
where it's like, move over, loser, was when it was a couple years ago and Heather Dubrow
Uh-huh.
had her groundbreaking party for her, basically her hotel, her home.
Right. And that was the one that was like a hoedown or something?
It was a hoedown.
Yeah.
And I brought my two of my kids. My one son couldn't come. So I brought two of my kids.
Uh-huh.
And Tamara went on this like little bull, whatever.
Oh, like
you
a
know,
mechanical bull.
Mechanical bull. And she fell off and she hurt her wrist. And she was hurt. So, being a friend, being a mom,
Yeah.
I went and like got her a little thing of ice. I sat down and I was giving her the ice. And, the sweaty camera person is like, get out of the shot. Like tapped me and was like, get out. And I was just like, oh, yeah, like you don't want me to be part of the story.
That's so
And what's
funny.
interesting about that episode is my husband goes, do it, Heather. And he meant like me, because I think I went on it too. But they made it sound like he was like getting horny for Heather Dubrow.
Oh,
and Peter's like, wait a minute, I don't think I ever said that to like Heather Dubrow.
That's amazing.
And so we still had a super fun weekend.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, maybe I need to be a tad more selective.
But it is funny
on what
because-
events I attend.
Sure. But also, it's one of those things where you're going to have a good time, and then the editing can manipulate any situation to be completely different. I mean, we've been talking about The Bachelor like crazy, like this season of Not Too Deep, because I'm obsessed with it.
I'm obsessed with The Bachelor. I've been watching it from the beginning. Were you?
No, I'm new to it, so I've missed a whole
You don't know
archive.
about Alex Michelle.
No, I don't.
He was the original. I'm still convinced he's gay.
Oh, really?
And he's still not married to a woman or anybody.
He's
Interesting.
he's still a bachelor.
So
he
the
is still a
conspiracy
bachelor.
theories.
Yes.
I've gone into the deep dive of looking up all of their Instagrams, checking in on how Ari and Lauren are doing.
And how are they doing?
Boring as shit. They're in Scottsdale, just kind of
Being boring.
hanging on, it seems like.
Well, someone just posted on my page that somewhere in their town, Channing Tatum was there at the race car driving thing, and Ari was there too, like right next to him, like getting an award or something.
Sure. Why not? Now you worked forever on Chelsea Lately,
Yes.
and then After Lately.
Didn't they replace her with you? Didn't you get your own show right around that same time?
I got an e-show, but it was nothing. I did Chelsea maybe twice,
Yes,
and I was
remember.
like, it's such an intense environment. Like everyone that works there is amazing and really great and really smart. And you guys were like producing the amount of content on a daily basis was like unreal. But I'm just not a comedian in that sense of like trying to get my jokes out on the
Right.
panel above and beyond everyone else. So I was very lame. I would just kind of sit and let everyone else talk. And
I
then-
just remember when you came on, it was just like, no, you guys don't understand. This girl has like 500 million followers. Like, are you kidding me? This is amazing. Like, we were just
that's very
excited,
kind.
And then you did. I remember you did fine. You
Yeah,
did well.
It felt fine. It was just literally
Yeah.
the prep, the way that they come into the green room, and they really like don't hold back and are very honest with like, you're gonna have to like Hunger Games really fight to get your jokes out.
Oh,
And I'm
boy.
just so non-confrontational
Yes.
in any regard. And I was like,
it wasn't for everybody. And
Yeah,
even
it
the
was a very
funniest
intense.
people, it just didn't work out for whatever reasons. And then they
Yeah.
would come up to me later through their life as they're starring on movies like a Tiffany Haddish
yeah.
and still like, girl, what the hell happened? And I'm like, oh my God, you gotta let it go. Our show's been off for 3.5 years. You're the biggest movie star on earth. Who cares that you weren't asked back after the third
Oh.
time? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was not ever in charge of. I actually recommended some people,
Yeah.
and the same thing happened with Nico Santos, who's he's on what's the Walmart type of comedy show?
Oh, Superstore?
Yes, he's on
Yeah.
Superstore. I just saw he's got a part in a movie coming out. He's worked so much, and he opened for me in San Francisco, and I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
"This guy's perfect,"
Yeah.
I brought him in. I was so excited, and then one day she just like decided she didn't like him anymore, and I was like, and he'd be like, "What?" And he's all
Yeah.
upset. I'm like, "You're on NBC. You're on a bus.
You're doing
Like,
well.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't let it. But sometimes you always people those type of shows that you're on a bunch of times, and then it's so weird, and it's like you just don't know.
And there's so many factors to it.
You don't
and
know
that
which-
it's so arbitrary. It's like
Yes.
auditioning for anything.
Yes.
And it's just arbitrary. Like your hair wasn't long enough. Sorry.
Right. It's
And
so
you're like,
subjective, or sometimes it's just one person
right.
has it out for you.
Or
Like-
one person that day doesn't
Yes.
enjoy the kind of person that you are, which is what I wanted to ask you because you were there for like 7 years.
Yeah, I was there from the very first day one.
Which is nuts. And as like a female working in the entertainment space and
Yes.
especially the comedy entertainment
Mhm.
space and it being competitive, but also you want to be supportive. Like what's the major lesson that you took away from that? Or like the major kind of like, whoa, okay, I'm different than I was because it hardens you in a way, I can imagine.
The biggest lesson that I learned is that I wish I would have demanded more as a working mother.
Really?
And I did not.
Interesting.
And I really regret that because when people say that we don't get the same as men, it's our own fault. And the perfect example of the story is, so when I started the show, my boys were, I had a stepdaughter who was 7, but my boys were 5 and 1.5, or 4.5 and 1.5.
Wow.
And so that was young. But I was the only person that was a parent at the time.
Okay.
I think there was one executive producer, but he was a man. So no females that had kids. And the rest of the men didn't have any children.
Right.
And,
not just one kid, 3 kids
yes,
at this
3.
point.
Yes. And I commuted like an hour each way.
That's nuts.
So, but you know, it was such a great opportunity. So I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong.
Right.
But like, I would tell someone now to go in and be like, hey, if my child has something and it's not detrimental that I be here, I would hope that you would respect that I'm going to be the most creative person, knowing that I didn't miss my kid's poetry thing.
Right.
I did not do that because the way the dynamic worked, I was so scared to like piss off anyone. God forbid or they twist it and go, maybe this isn't the right job for you, Heather. You know, like one of those, like where all of a sudden you're like, did I get fired or did I quit? Like, no. So I never did it. But then I just remember years into it, they hired Josh Wolf, who I love. And Josh Wolf had a couple kids, but they were older. And one was 14. And that's the one that was living at home. And it was like a Monday at 3.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm out. And everybody's
no
like,
questions asked.
Tell Jacob I hope he wins his baseball game. And I was like, what?
I've been missing
isn't
out.
he the best dad ever?
Oh my
Josh is the best dad ever. And I'm like, I have missed everything.
Oh, no.
I don't get home till 7:30 at night.
That's so
And
nuts.
then I do remember one time they had changed the hours from 9 to 6 to 10 to 7. And then one day we had a meeting about something. We kind of had like a heart-to-heart meeting with everybody in Chelsea. And my son was about to start kindergarten, my younger son. And I was like, I'm not going to see him at all. Like he'll be asleep by the time I get home. So I said, is there any way that I could come at 9 and leave at 6? And I'm still doing the same amount of hours as everybody else. Because I never wanted to like play the mom card. And she's like, no, everybody can leave at 6. Why the fuck are we staying here till 7? Like, no one had said anything to her about it.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, you know, but it was like the main other person that kind of ran it was just this like person that was just like, that's it, you know, and we'd literally be sitting there like a factory, like,
jeez.
And I'm like, this is so
and for
dumb.
something that's supposed to be so creative,
Yes.
it seems silly to give it restrictive hours.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really great experience, but it was just a really stressful thing. If I ever had to like ask to leave earlier, it was just so stressful that I just avoided it. And then I saw that, and so I know that that's sort of a lesson, I think, for any job
I think
that like
super important.
Set the precedent. So like while you're applying for the job, taking the job, and you are a parent, whether you're a man or a woman, just kind of go like, hey, I hope in this day and age that like if my child has something, you would be cool with me doing this and sending it in the morning or like whatever the case may be, because certainly short of like really doing physical labor, I would think, you know, sometimes you can do stuff like that.
I think that works. That's great advice as an employee, and also like great advice if you're a boss to kind of take stock of your employees and like what their lives are like and how, because honestly, you will probably create better if you're in balance with like your personal and creative life.
Right.
But it's so important to be like, ask. It's because I'm such a person that will never ask questions. And then I watch my more forceful friends just like simply break through a wall just because they've asked about something. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, some people were born with balls. Like there is a huge difference. And especially someone who's my age, like, you know, in my 40s, like I am a scaredy cat Catholic girl. I do get scared of authority.
Yeah.
And it still like haunts me today. And I remember one time my son, he was about 13, and I said something, and it was a couple years after Chelsea had been over with, and I said something, and he goes, God, Mom, are you still afraid of Chelsea Handler? And I go, oh my God, like that's what he had heard. Like, and it's nothing to say that was her. That was all me,
right?
You know, and that was my thing. And so it's
and it's
just
funny
an interesting thing,
and how kids pick up on such honesty, such like their perceptions of things are usually spot on just because it's so raw and real and pure.
But I mean, as far as working on the show, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I love the collaboration of it all.
And now you're still like touring. Like I just saw you're going like to Nashville.
Yeah, I'm going to Nashville May 4th and 5th to do stand-up. And then I'm doing all these shows where that one is a stand-up weekend, but most of the shows I'm going to the city and I do one live Juicy Scoop, which is my podcast.
Yeah,
and
nice.
I'm bringing Chris Frangiola, who was on Chelsea with me. And so we'll do Hot Topics and we have like surprise guests. And then the other night is straight stand-up. So I have people that will go to both, or if they say which one I should go to, I'm like...
Yeah, give them the
totally
full
different
menu.
shows.
Yeah, I'll be like, if you're not sure, bring the husband to the stand-up because the stand-up is universal. You don't have to necessarily know all the shows and pop culture stuff that I've been talking about on the podcast. Like, so.
But
That's
when in
great.
doubt, just come to both.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always say, do your Christian service. Spread the word of Juicy Scoop. And
guilt is healthy.
Yes,
Guilt
absolutely.
is motivating.
If
If Catholicism has taught us anything, it's probably that. Do you have a best or least favorite city to go to?
You know what? I only will travel to cute cities now.
To cute cities?
To cute cities. And
what's cute by definition to you?
it's the bigger cities.
Yeah.
And it's just like fashionable and cute. Like I got to stay at a hotel where I can walk to the Starbucks and not be terrified.
That's
And
fair.
there's some that, and it's, there's some cities that have changed over the years and they are not as nice as they used to be or whatever. So I am a little bit, I fortunately can be a little snobby about it.
That's
And
nice.
and the bigger cities, they sell better. And so like
Yeah.
I love Chicago, Boston, obviously Irvine, that's great. I'm doing the Irvine Improv and that's close.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, there isn't like okay, Jacksonville, Florida, that was really bad.
Really?
Yes.
I've heard from a lot of stand-ups that Florida is not very
Well, you got to be
warm.
Well, you got to know where you're going.
Yeah, I guess it's that.
Like Palm Beach is one part of Florida, and then Jacksonville is another. And I didn't know, and I like to like go outside in the day and like do stuff. So, but now I also now find that another thing I have to check on is if the hotel I'm staying at has Bravo.
Oh, yeah, that's fair because so many hotels don't. And I assume, and then I just am so let down.
Yeah, and now I'm like, because I've been to all these cities all the time. Now I'm like, you know what, Heather? You don't need to walk around and see the museum. You can actually stay in your room all day and do a facial mask and watch TV and then be just really on fire when you do your 2 shows.
Yeah.
So I'm more like that now. So it doesn't matter that much.
How old are your kids now?
So my stepdaughter's a freshman in college, Mackenzie, and then I have my son is a freshman in high school.
Okay.
He's 15. His name is Drake. I know I named him before the famous Drake, but he's
Drake was still being Jimmy in a wheelchair on Degrassi.
yes,
when you had
like
him.
yeah. And the whole reason is because my married last name is Tobias, and I imagined a girl being like, I heard Drake Tobias is going to be at the party.
Yeah, he sounds like a Slytherin.
And now he's like
Jesus.
actually at an age that could happen, except that he doesn't go to any parties. I don't know if you also know this about my generation that have kids growing up. They're all like nerds. Like everybody I talk to goes, my kids don't leave. They're like, can we play Scrabble? And you're like, what the how are you not at the football game smoking clove cigarettes right now? Like, what is wrong with you?
What do they think about you doing stand-up? Do they think it's cool? Or do they think like, ugh, mom?
Well, it's just interesting because that's like all they know.
Right.
So it's like, I think like, oh my God, like it's such a unique life perspective you have, this woman. But they, but they're also boys. So like my son wrote an article, a poem about how the funniest person he knows is Joe Coy. Because Joe Coy, the comedian, his son was my son's best friend. And I was like, okay. Like, seriously, the other dude that I met from Chelsea lately is the funniest person on earth and not. But I was like,
I'm right here.
Yeah, but I like sent it to him and Joe, of course, loved it. But I was like, yeah. So
that's sweet.
They do know I'm funny, though. And they're becoming funny, which is really
fun. I was going to say, are you noticing their personalities start to develop?
Totally.
Yeah.
And like they say certain things and I'm like, oh my God, let me write that down. And then sometimes I'll tweet it and then they're sort of in competition. Like,
there you go.
How many likes did Brandon's get over mine? And,
it's always good motherly advice is pit them against each other.
Exactly, yes.
One has
pit
to survive.
them and exploit them.
Yeah.
And I say to them, do you want a lip kit one day or not? Let me do an Instagram story of you.
That's a great
T-shirt. Weird is when when social media first started and I was on Chelsea,
Yeah.
I like did this weird like star thing on like as if they're like Prince Charles or whatever. Like I wouldn't show their faces because I thought I was like protecting their
privacy.
identity.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed that I didn't just like exploit them from the beginning.
That you
Yeah,
didn't
think of the
Kris Jenner
followers.
them?
Yes, I mean, yeah, like right,
There's still time.
yeah,
There's still time.
But now I feature them.
There you go. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we have some of your questions for Heather. And we're going to get into some shitty stories.
Indeed.
I'll be right back.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by our good buddies at Audible.
Audiobooks, like podcasts, are a great sidekick for summer activities like hiking, running, road tripping, enjoying downtime outdoors, and more. And with the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, Audible lets you find your summer with more stories like
The Handmaid's Tale, which I'm currently listening to, narrated by my crush, Claire Danes.
Oh my God. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the perfect storm. I can't
I
even
gotta
imagine
say.
you listening to that in your car, in traffic, just being the happiest human in all the land.
I wish I was listening to it while I was doing fun summer activities like hiking, but frankly, I'm mostly listening to it while I'm in traffic in Los Angeles. But
Which
I
is
gotta say,
perfect.
it's great.
Yeah. And as an Audible member, you'll get a credit every month, good for any audiobook, regardless of price. Unused credits roll over to the next month. And if you didn't like your audiobook, you can exchange it with no questions asked.
And what's cool is it's like, you get to keep your books. Like, do you ever have that experience where you're like,
That's so cool.
I'm like enjoying this show on like this streaming app, and then suddenly you're like, what? The show's gone now? I was watching it.
You don't rent. You
don't.
own.
No, you own it. So like once you've got the book, like I can listen to The Handmaid's Tale over and over and over again if that's what I choose.
Yeah,
so
I have a
I feel
feeling-
comfort in that.
I have a feeling before the end of today, you're going to put it on and make us all listen to it with you.
It's
Which
a dark.
you can because you own it now.
I do. It's a dark story, Grace. I don't know if you can handle it.
No, I just want to look at dogs on Instagram.
Yeah. But better yet, you can also switch seamlessly between your devices, which I think is really cool.
That's
so
cool.
if you've got it on your phone, you can listen to it through your car. You can listen to it on your tablet. You can listen to it via your Amazon Echo. So you can be like,
But that makes so much sense that if you're listening to it in traffic and then you get home and then you just transfer exactly where you were to your Echo in your house,
Right.
and then there's no truncated clunk.
that's right.
clunkiness.
You've been listening to the latest chapter and you're like, I don't want to leave my car. That's happened to me.
Oh, I've literally sat in my carport
Ditto.
listening, being
Ditto.
like, and my dog has been like, "What are you doing?"
I'm like,
and
I have to finish this chapter.
I need 1 minute and 58 seconds, and then I'll be inside.
Well, guess what, guys? You don't have to do that anymore because you can just walk inside and you can say,
Immediately start it up?
I won't say the name
Yeah.
because I don't want to trigger your Amazon Echo. But you
Oh,
would
yeah.
say, name of this thing that you would
Device.
say, excuse me, Alexa.
Yeah, I'll say it. Alexa,
Volume.
Alexa, play Handmaid's Tale. Please let us know how many of you had Alexas that just started up Handmaid's Tale. But listen, you guys can start a 30-day trial and your audiobook is free. You just go to audible.com/NTD or text NTD to 500.
And the NTD obviously stands for Not Too Deep.
Doi.
That's Audible, AUDIBLE.com/NTD.
Or text NTD to 500. You can do it with audiobooks.
Not too deep.
This is a fun sponsor. We got Sugar Bear Hair supporting the show today. Why is great healthy hair important to you? Because great healthy hair is great and healthy, and I like when my hair looks and feels that way. Picture any celebrity with amazing hair, and you can bet that they have a stylist who clued them in to Sugar Bear Hair. Sugar Bear Hair tastes like sweet, delicious candy made with the juice of real berries, but contains everything you need for stronger and healthier hair. And it's a dangerously wonderful treat. It's so delicious that I want to eat all of it all day long. So the flavor alone should be something that catches your fancy on this. It has as much vitamin A as 4 cups of broccoli, as much vitamin C as 1 cup of cranberries, and as much vitamin B12 as 4 organic eggs. Sugar Bear Hair fans also saw an improvement in the quality of their skin and nails over time thanks to the nutrients packed into each gummy. So if you want healthy, shiny, desirable hair, go to sugarbearhair.com/grace for beautiful hair and a healthier you. That's sugarbearhair.com/grace. sugarbearhair.com/grace. We're back with Heather McDonald, and we're going to get into some Twitter questions for you. But before we do, I'm going to ask you the 2 questions I ask every single guest that's on the podcast.
Exciting.
The first one is, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's intense.
I mean, I'm sure everyone says Hitler, but like,
Oh, yeah.
Not that
Alive?
common,
Not
actually.
that common.
oh really?
I mean, maybe
we do
a
get
handful.
politicians, but usually
You know what? I think Vern Troyer would totally enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. That seems
and
like
I'm
a
not
nice
a good
tribute.
thrower, so that would be easy.
More of an underhand.
Yeah. And God rest in peace. Oh,
Okay,
a new one just joined the party. Yes.
there you go. The other question I ask every single guest is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or close call, but you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases. So mine is college, jogging, front lawn.
Okay. Mine is Cancun,
Oh.
kid pool,
Oh, no.
possible drowning.
Oh, no.
Their tourism just skyrocketed. Okay, let's get into these Twitter questions. We've got a bunch of really good ones. Amy Louise Spud wants to know, what is your biggest fear?
Being paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh, do you
good
get like
one.
any of that sleep paralysis at all?
No.
Oh, that stuff, it happens to me like rarely, but it is terrifying.
And then like a smaller fear
uh-huh.
is losing my voice. Because
Really?
it's so important. So it's always like right before a show or something, like if I'm like, oh my God, it hurts to swallow. Oh my God, I'm getting a cold. Like
It's happening.
Yeah.
Do you do any Celine Dion-esque vocal like rests before you perform just to consolidate
No,
the
because
voice?
it's so rarely happened. I've been really lucky, but yes, like I should be a little more conscious of. I should
But
take
it
the airborne and all that stuff.
all
I should-
those things.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
had Mayim Bialik on, and she'll like spend entire days where she won't speak, so her voice is rested when she does The Big Bang Theory. I don't know how she does that.
Well, maybe if I made 15 million an episode, I would do that.
Oh, sure. There you go.
Yeah, I know. I was so impressed, and then I was like, oh, I'm just a hunk of garbage because I treat my whole person like
I don't know how I could
trash.
not talk. I would love talking so much.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, it must be infuriating to feel like you couldn't communicate with
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, when she was on with us, she was like, "This is the 2 hours I'm allowed to speak today."
Yeah, I
It's
was
crazy.
like, don't, and
Yeah.
trying to make small talk. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about
Oh my
it.
God, that's a lot of
A-okay.
stress.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Stephanie 12P wants to know, what's the juiciest gossip she's got so far on her podcast?
I mean, there's been so many. I really am able to get juicy scoop out of people that I didn't even think. They'll just
Yeah,
go, you know what? I don't care. I'll tell you right now.
Have you feel like because you've been doing it for a long time, that it's like cultivated this muscle in you?
Yeah. Oh, here's some juicy scoop since you like Vanderpump.
Yeah.
I had Kristen Doty on a while ago, like maybe almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I hadn't really watched the show that much, but I just started to get into it. So I reached out to her and I really liked her a lot. And she had just broken up with DJ James Kennedy.
Oh.
And she revealed that his mother had stolen her credit card number and booked all this Botox and got Botox on Kristen's card.
Oh my God.
That's like a Mad Lib sentence. But
Right.
That's
And so I
makes
thought
so
that
much
was pretty
sense.
juicy. And now that we know that, like, he cries about how his parents broke
Yeah.
up and how they went from being rich and then living in this sad apartment, and we see the dad with like his fucked up teeth and stuff.
And
I'm
he
like,
has-
oh, okay, maybe they really did have like an economic change in their life, and
And the girl's got to
and
do what a girl's got to do,
mean,
I guess.
Yeah, she's got a more smooth forehead thanks to Kristen Doty. Yeah,
Yeah, and we have seen the mom. I think there's been like scenes of her
and she's
having lunch.
glowing.
Yeah, and she looks pretty young for a mom. Songbird Tomio wants to know, best way to fold a fitted sheet. Is this an issue for you?
I have no idea. I feel like that was something that somebody talked about.
Oh, I heard recently there was a debacle over your son drinking the expensive hotel water.
Oh no, you found out that I did.
Oh,
We have two places that are part of Weston at Mammoth.
Okay.
We just got the second one because I just could not stand being in the small one with like the smelly feet. So the 3 of them.
Okay.
My husband. I basically have 3 husbands. They're all the same person. And so we got like this small studio. And that week, my husband goes, if you want to stay there with my daughter, Mackenzie, I was like, okay, the 2 girls, like, great. So I left a day early and flew home, and they came to my room to like clear it out, make sure I didn't leave anything there. And they saw the empty Smart Water bottle there. And my son called me, and I saw that he called, so I immediately put it on speaker and had Nikki tape it and put it on Instagram. And he's like, there's an empty smart water bottle here? And I go, it's free. He goes, there's a sign right here that says that it's $5.99. And I'm like, I was just really thirsty. And it's very important that you're hydrated in Mammoth. But yeah, they're very cheap. They're always very cheap.
So funny. Like he's managing your family's finances.
No, he's at Calabasas High, which is like really the kind of shebang place to go.
Right.
And he will only wear Kirkland clothes.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'm like,
He's
dude,
setting a trend.
yeah. Or unless, so there was times where I was like, I'd lie. Like we'd be at Macy's and I'd be like, Ryan Seacrest collection, and I'd move it and I'd put 50% off. And he's like, I don't know, even 50% off Ryan's pants. I'm like, you've got a good body. Like you're like, we got to show up this like.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
So I
like
like lie about stuff being free all the time, and then
Such an
sometimes they can
opposite.
free. I know it's like weird, and they can. That's why we couldn't go to private school. He just like did not want me to spend the money on the
That's
private school.
so funny. Well, I have a question because
Yes.
you're surrounded mostly by males
Yes.
in your family life, but you belong to a sorority at USC, right?
Yes, I can't believe I used to feel sorry when I saw a woman that just had 2 sons. Before I had kids, I go, oh my God, that'll suck. I hope that doesn't happen to me.
Uh-oh, you manifested it.
Yes, and so it's like I love that I have my stepdaughter, and I feel like. And I've said like, oh, I think God gave me sons so that she would be, always the special one.
Yeah.
But at first, I mean, and I'm not like sporty, and I'm not,
Right.
and I love the sorority life. And I actually started my own sorority here at Juicy Scoop Obsessed. We have our own sorority.
Nice.
Anyone can join. No sexuality, gender, age,
Amazing.
size. They just form their own groups in the cities, and they go out and drink and talk about juicy stuff.
That's
and
so great.
But I love that I went to the all-girl high school. Like, I love it. So, yes,
Yeah, what
I'm
was
very
your sorority?
bummed.
I grew up with all brothers.
Okay.
So I'm basically like your stepdaughter in
Yeah.
a way that like
Yeah.
my stepmom had a son, so she like a girl that I can talk
Yeah,
to, and
yeah,
like we
yeah.
can look at dresses together.
Right.
Even though I was like very much a tomboy growing up, so I always am fascinated by someone's sorority life experience.
Yes.
Like how was that for you?
I loved the sorority life experience. I came from an all-girl high school, so
Okay.
I loved that. I'd also get in a lot of trouble because I had sisters, so like I'd be living in the sorority house and I would just borrow things without asking. That's one way that a lot of people will not like you, like a scrunchie or like a new MAC eyeshadow or whatever.
Right.
So it was really fun to me. I mean, when I was finishing SC, I was like, oh my God, how do I come up with a job where I'm just recapping the night before with all my sorority sisters? And in the end, I guess I sort of secreted it because
You
that's
really
basically
did.
what I'm doing is just like recapping stuff and
Yeah.
and talking about things. And people would be like, our party night was Thursday night. And so Friday, some people would be like, did we miss Heather's? Like recap of like who was making out with whom and
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
So I thoroughly
That's
loved
amazing.
it. Like,
Do you still keep in touch with your sorority sisters?
oh yeah, like we just had a reunion. I won't say what year because I look so young, but we had a reunion, and so that weekend was like our homecoming game at USC. And I'm like, why don't we just, instead of going and going to a hotel or whatever, I'm like, just come to my backyard. And we had our first HeatherFest, which
Oh
is
my
like
God.
Coachella,
Amazing.
but for women in their 40s. So we had Bravo up playing. I don't mean to brag. I have a TV outside. We
you're
had the
living the
jacuzzi
dream.
going. We had guys come and give us massages, foot and shoulder massages.
Wow.
I made
No kids.
no kids. I made my own Chinese chicken salad, which is the chicken where the chicken is pulled
Oh,
from
yeah.
the chicken, not a sad, dry breast.
No.
No gross canned Adrian. I made it avocado, grapefruit,
You made it
and mango.
nice.
I made it nice. I did my own salad, and we just like drank. And we were going to go out that night. We didn't. Like
Oh,
my
but
husband
that's
just
so
ordered it in
fun.
food and HeatherFest.
And that
So
was the first inaugural.
those are all my sorority sisters. Yeah.
Are you planning future HeatherFest?
Yes, and I have a lot of requests, so I may have to charge people because a lot of people just want to come.
It sounds great. I know.
It
I'm
really
like, how
is
do
great.
we get
'Cause
into
all you want to do
HeatherFest?
is just catch up with your friends, you know? And then
Yeah.
like when you go to a spa or something, then you can't talk or you're in 2 different
Oh,
places.
yeah.
And it's
then
like
it's like you're at the end of the night, you only ended up talking to like 2 people.
where you're at a table and it's long and you can't talk. So yeah,
Yeah.
you just have your HeatherFest.
I love it. We got to figure out what the not too deep version of
I think
that
it's
is.
a brilliant idea.
The real Jody Man wants to know, who is Heather's least fave housewife and why? And I think we can reframe this so that it's not so like negative. Like, who's your favorite? Like
I'll say who my least favorite
Sure.
is. I didn't like the witch from Beverly Hills. She was a practicing witchcraft witch.
Yeah. She
Mostly
was
the mostly the people I don't like were one season wonders.
Yeah.
So the witch from Beverly Hills and also Peggy from the OC. Though I loved
you did
doing an
like
impression
Peggy.
of her, I thought she was the worst. She's like, Dico, what is called? What do you mean call? Who's Santa Claus? What are you talking like?
Yeah,
Her whole act of like trying to be like Sofia Vergara, like a dumb. I mean, it was the most like
It's
self-produced thing that it was just so irritating, and she didn't fit. It was just
it was
God bless her, but it was not good.
It was
for the
like a
show.
square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
It was square peggy in a round hole. Nailed it. Got
Yeah,
there.
did
Oh
it.
my God, clever.
How many housewives do you do impressions of?
I mean, I would have to write them down. I just kind of like watch the show and then get into and then I can just sort of like do a new one.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
just did Ramona on my Instagram, which I had never done all these years prior.
Oh, she's great.
Where she's
It's a
just
lot of
like,
eye work.
Are you saying that I'm in love with my contractor, Mario? I'm in love with my contractor, Mario. You know what, Sonia?
Wow, I wish we were filming this.
I know,
Your
I mean,
whole body changed. It was
really,
amazing.
I was like, Ramona's here.
I
Just
know.
go to my
Great.
Instagram, everybody. I can always use a follower at Heather McDonald.
Who do you have top favorites, even ones that might have moved on since?
Well, Peggy was a real easy one to do. I mean, I like doing that because it's easy when there's like an accent,
Right.
Like a Kyle is hard to do. Like I could do her a little bit like, you're such a fucking liar, Camille.
Yeah.
Like, but I can only say like certain lines.
Only
It's like
little
she's kind of hard to
bites.
do because she's just more normal,
Yeah.
But like,
And a lot of it's physicality, which
Right.
I'm not realizing until right now, like how specific each one of their physicalities are when you like
Yeah.
actually look at it.
I mean, I'm someone that like, there's some people that like really study and memorize it. And there's some people that I'm sure do it better than me and can do a voice better than me. I think my talent is that I can have them say funny things. Like I
Yeah.
can write them doing funny things. So like the celebrities that I keep doing are Drew Barrymore and Jen Aniston because different things happen in their lives.
Right.
So then I can talk about them in my act and still do them. And it's like so easy for me to go do them. You know?
Plus they're classics.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone
Those are
knows
just,
them.
like,
Everyone knows what
They
they sound
transcend
like.
all the age
Right.
groups. Like,
Yeah.
everyone kind of understands. But for entertainment value, not even impression wise, do you have a favorite housewife or reality star?
I mean,
it must fluctuate too.
I really love Dorinda. Like I
Oh,
think
God,
not
I love
only is she
Dorinda.
super entertaining, but I have gotten to know her a little bit personally, and I think like she is like
I've heard
the
she's
real
very
deal,
nice.
like a really, and really and like a naturally funny person. I've known Tamara forever.
Oh, really?
So I really like Tamara. Kelly Dodd, I thoroughly enjoy.
And these are all people that are just genuinely themselves, it seems
yes,
like. 'Cause
so
they've
and
been on
Shannon,
for...
Shannon Bedore is
Right.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember when I first met Shannon Bedore, and I met her at a USC game because I posted like, I want to go to the USC UCLA game, and Tamara was like, "Do you want to come with me in the new Housewife?"
Well,
And I'm like, "Did she go to USC?" Yes. And I'm like, "And she has tickets." Like her tickets were like killer.
Really?
Like, oh my God! When she told me that I was going to have a parking pass, I like came in my pants. I mean, my whole life I've been parking in like the hood where you like leave your car on like some strange guy's lawn, and
you're
you're
just
like
paying someone $10 to kind of
Yeah.
call it a parking spot.
So yeah, I like her a lot, and she's like naturally. She's one of those people that's funny that she doesn't know she's being funny.
Yeah.
So I like that.
That's why I
Yeah.
love Sonia Morgan. She is just one of those, to me, I'm like, she's one of the greatest comedians of all time.
She just doesn't know it.
Well, she sometimes knows it, I think,
Okay.
too much. She feels like as she's getting older, she's a little...
Well, that party that she had where she's like, oh, it's all my gays. It's my gays. Here's the move. Tuck it, and I'm like, I can't have any other girls here. When it's my guys. And I'm like, this is the grossest party. Like, what are these? First of all, like, you're just like, oh, and then the one guy's like, what lips are you talking about? I'm like, what is this? Like, it felt very ridiculous.
It's, yeah.
And I don't like it when housewives refer to their gay friends as my gays and all
Yeah,
that. Like, and
that's-
I'm not trying to be like, I brought it up and someone's like, oh my God, now you're being politically correct. I'm like, no, I'm not. But I just wonder I think it is sort of rude. It's
yeah,
like,
Nene had that party too. That was
yeah,
like,
and someone said it's like, would you say my blacks are coming to the party?
right,
Like,
exactly. And
But
I
I
was like,
also-
yeah, this is a little weirdly like
But I
divided.
also think there's something in that the minute you become a housewife,
yeah,
as a woman, you start to get all these fans that are men who are gay.
right.
And all of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, like they love me. And I'm like, yeah, they love you, what they stand for. They love
Right.
all the housewives, you know,
Right.
but they are so, predominantly every single one is like really not self aware and narcissistic. So
Right.
it's like they're just like, I'm a gay icon. Yeah. No, you're not.
no, you're
No.
just part of a franchise
you
that
had
is
one-
adored by the gay community.
Yes, exactly. So get over
Oh.
yourself.
Okay, last question before we wrap up is would you be on a reality show? If there is one, which one would it be?
I would be. First of all, of course, I would be on something because there's no way that I could ever get that kind of exposure anywhere else, and I think
Fair.
it would be really fun.
Fair, fair.
I've been married almost 18 years at the end of the month, and it's not great, but I'm in it to win it. Like it's not perfect.
That's your Real Housewives tagline.
But
It's
like, I've been married for 18 years. It's not great, but I'm in it to win it. So, I'm always like, Jesus will reward me when I get on the other side. But no, like I wouldn't at this point, like I would think at this point, like we're probably good enough that it wouldn't mess it up. But I
Yeah.
think that it's very hard to have your relationship because that is what makes the show good.
right.
The best ones are like where you find out that the guy
the train wrecks.
yeah, abusive or, like, and it's sad that but that's the thing that makes it kind of juicy. And then
Right.
we all bitch about like, oh, this season was so boring. They only bitched about what time the Reach showed up.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, at least no one was like getting divorced or getting
Yeah,
hit.
but
Yeah.
they're all
same
kind of decent humans this season, I guess.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of like, so yes, I would absolutely do one. Housewives would be fun. Or if there was something different and it made sense, like
Yeah.
I just had one thing approach us as a family that would be it sort of would be like a one season one-off. Like I think it wouldn't be like we'd keep coming back, sort of like a social experiment. And I don't know if it's still happening or not, but that one I was like kind of excited for because it was not about us like fighting with each other or
Right.
humiliating each other or anything like that. It was like so
It was a
yeah.
little bit more genuine.
Yeah, like just something
Yeah.
like, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of fun, like
That's
just
cool.
to do, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And then,
Well, manifest,
who knows?
manifest.
Or maybe not. Maybe,
Yeah.
then something goes away, you don't hear about it. You're like, oh, maybe that was,
for the best.
like, I was so excited for like 2 days. And then
Yeah.
you're like, what? Yeah.
Well, I would love to see you. I hope I continue to see you in the background of future episodes.
Hopefully in
of
the
Real
front
Housewives.
round. Hopefully something where I could actually be professionally mic'd up is what I'm looking
Before
forward
we
to.
say completely goodbye, I think we have a fortune cookie for you as a gift. Every guest for making time gets their own personalized fortune
oh my
cookie.
God. Thank you. Do
Of
I
course,
open it?
yeah, you can open it and read the fortune.
And don't feel obliged to eat the fortune cookie if you
Yeah,
don't want
I
to.
might be
like fortune
stale.
cookies. There will be a formal petition made so that an honorary plaque of you is installed in the Gamma Phi Beta sorority house at USC in whichever room that holds the most people.
There you go. Wow.
Do you know what?
What?
I just did a little thing at USC for Buzz TV,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, oh, and the girl that's interviewing you is a Gamma Phi Beta too. And I go, isn't that great? So I asked her, I go, didn't you have to memorize who I was, like as a pledge? And she's like, no. I'm like, only Kristen Chenoweth? And she's like, yeah, we know that about Kristen Chenoweth. I was like, so I don't know that this is happening, but
We'll
I am
see.
going to make it
We'll
happen.
still get there. Heather, where
very
can
sweet of
people
you.
find you online or on tour if they don't know?
All my website is heathermcdonald.net. Instagram and Twitter is at Heather McDonald, and Facebook is Heather McDonald Comedy. And then the show is Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald, and it's twice a week. You can go through, listen to every back episode for free, wherever you listen to podcasts.
And Grace is on an episode.
So, yes,
Yeah.
so please subscribe and spread the word and come see me at a live show. They're selling out quick.
Yeah, go check her out. She's absolutely wonderful, very, very hilarious, and a Renaissance mom, really, truly.
What a woman.
Thanks, Heather. We'll see you guys next time on Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep.
With Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated.
Produced and directed by Jack Ferry.
Producer Melissa D. Mons.
With writing by Diane Kang. Audio support by Chris Henry.
Editing by Melissa D. Mons.
And an extra special thank you to Flula for the theme music.